Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a loop? You're doing all this work on yourself, you're trying to grow, but you keep ending up in relationships that just don't work out. If that sounds familiar, this explainer is for you. We're going to dive into a very relatable story and explore the hidden patterns that might be holding you back. Let's get into it. Hello, I'm writing with a problem that many women might relate to. I hope I can find some advice from you here that can help me. I keep coming across unsuitable men. In short, the last 3 relationships, which lasted a year or 2, with a man who explained that he loved me and wanted us to get married and have children. But I caught him doing business with not one, but several other women behind my back. When I found out, no matter how hard it was for me to believe it and break up with him, I did. With the narcissist, there's nothing to explain there. The absolute cycle in narcissistic relationships like in a textbook. But at that time, I wasn't that familiar with narcissism, and unfortunately, I fell victim to one of them, and it took me 3 years of hard and difficult recovery and serious work on myself, in which I was absolutely alone, and it was very difficult for me to let my next boyfriend in after that. With an immature, unwillingness for a serious relationship, marriage, children, living together, and a problem with alcohol. Otherwise, he took responsibility for the stupid things he did, but nothing more. He didn't want to work on the problems. All this began to manifest and be seen in him over time. It took me many months to understand the truth, because at first he told me that he didn't rule out the possibility of having children and a family. Then he told me that he did not want children and a family. At first he had even stopped drinking. Then he got drunk every night and very often didn't remember the evening. Honestly, I think he lied to me about a lot of things in the first months, just to get on his nerves. But after a while, the truth came out. No matter how hard it was for me, I broke up with him. I am a 34-year-old woman. I have been working a lot on myself and my personal growth, both on my own and with psychologists, for more than 5 years. I've been going to personal consultations, group and online trainings, reading books, watching all kinds of videos and podcasts about psychology. First, because I have always been interested in this science and rediscovered my passion for it after the narcissist. And secondly, so that I can recover from it and get my life back together, because I think it helps me. But alas, even now, I still can't meet my man. I'm starting to worry that I don't have much time left until I'm 40, and that I'll never meet the man with whom I can have a family and children. Mature, responsible, good, with empathy, with a desire to develop, with a desire to have a family and children, to work together on our future. I have my own income. I have a higher education and a professional education. I also turned my favorite hobby into a professional occupation. Honestly, I don't know what to do anymore. I work on myself. I try to meet people, but I just never find the right person. Please, if someone can give me some advice that can help me, I will be extremely grateful. I wish you a nice and successful day. Okay, so first of all, that experience is so deeply relatable. And the feeling of frustration, of failure that comes through in this story, it's palpable. But the very first thing we need to do here is to completely reframe this situation. What's really incredible here is the truth that's hiding in plain sight. In every single one of those painful stories, when faced with cheating, with narcissism, with immaturity, the person who wrote this chose to leave. That is not a pattern of failure, not even close. It's a consistent, powerful pattern of strength. What this really shows is a clear, solid ability to enforce personal boundaries. It's that capacity to say, you know what, this is not good for me, and I will not stay. So the central issue here isn't about attracting the wrong people. It's about recognizing the strength you already have to walk away. And that strength is the foundation for everything that comes next. So if the problem isn't a lack of strength, then what is it? Let's explore that. We're going to walk through 4 hypotheses. And these aren't diagnoses, they're just reflective questions to help us get to the why behind this pattern. First question, is it possible you're falling for a partner's potential instead of their actual present-day reality? If you think back to all 3 examples, the relationship started with big promises, a lot of talk, a vision for the future. And right here, this shows the classic disconnect. A healthy, mature partnership is really defined by the consistency between someone's words and their actions. So the key question shifts from, why do I meet people like this, to how quickly do I spot the inconsistency, and what might make me stay even after I see it? All right, the second question is a bit more subtle, especially after you've been through a relationship with a narcissistic type. Is there a part of you that's become, accustomed to having to prove your worth or fight for love? You see, these intense, chaotic relationships can create a kind of adrenaline cycle. Your brain can literally get used to that high drama feeling. Then, when a calm, stable, secure love comes along, it can feel kind of boring. It seems to be missing that spark. But so often, that spark is just anxiety in disguise. And simply recognizing that is a huge step forward. Let's look at our third hypothesis. It is entirely possible that after years of personal work, you are just more emotionally mature than a lot of the dating pool. The standards you have, maturity, empathy, a desire for family, no dependencies, that seriously narrows the field. And that's not a flaw in you. It just means your search needs to be much more deliberate and filtered. And finally, our fourth question. This one gets right to that deep fear that was mentioned in the post. Is it possible that the anxiety around running out of time is actually influencing your choices in a way that's working against you? It's such a painful paradox, isn't it? The pressure to find someone quickly can cause you to overlook those early red flags or to give more chances than you should, just hoping things will turn around. But in reality, a calm, patient, almost strategic approach to dating that actually speeds up the process. Why? Because you disqualify the unsuitable partners much, much faster. Okay, so knowing all of this, how do you actually move forward? This isn't just about general self-growth anymore. Now it's about developing a very specific skill, the skill of partner selection. So let's walk through 5 concrete steps. 1. Filter right from the start. Take non-committal statements at face value. 2. Observe actions, not words, for about 3 to 6 months. You're looking for that consistency. 3. Try a different type. Remember, that lack of fireworks might actually be a sign of stability, not a lack of connection. 4. Expand your environment. Meet people in places where personal growth is a shared value, like a class or a new hobby. And finally, 5. Shift your focus from just general self-growth to this very specific skill of partner selection. I really want to end this section by circling back to what is already true. You are not starting from scratch. The evidence is clear. You have strong boundaries. You refuse to stay in toxic situations. You are deeply invested in your own development, and you have absolute clarity on what you want. This is the profile of someone who is fully, 100% capable of finding what they're looking for. And all of this brings us to one final essential question. It's a quiet question, but it might be the most important one of all. So really consider this. If you met a stable, calm, and consistent partner tomorrow, would that be enough? Or would a part of you still seek out a little more of that intensity? Your honest answer to that question, well, it can reveal everything.